Good afternoon, you guys. I'm sorry. I apologize. I had to step off for a second. My oldest son, he's at work. Yay! Kudos to him. He got some job. But basically, yeah, he was texting, pretty much telling me how his day is going, and so therefore also I do apologize for any inconvenience as well on my Divine Love and Life Foundation business page, my spiritual page, where I give motivation as well as inspirational and spiritual quotes, not just for myself, but for anyone who's in need. Pretty much, I do apologize. I was not able to do a live video because I didn't set up an event with Facebook on that note. So now I am having to do a video recording. So I hope this finds you guys in time, as well as I do apologize. And the number for Divine Love and Life Foundation, it did change, but you can always inbox me on Divine Love and Life Foundation LLC on my Facebook business page, as well as my Facebook YouTube page. But at the same time, I'm just, happy to be here, as well as I hope you guys are having a blessed and wonderful Saturday, as well as don't let anything and anyone disturb your peace. Don't let anyone take your peace, as well as the understanding that you're trying to understand. So with that being said, pretty much, I just want to thank everybody that support me. I'm grateful, for all the love as well as the support from the genuinely, truthfully, God-fearing individuals. Regardless of what, we all go through things. Life knocks us down. Struggles, depression, anxiety, childhood trauma that do affect you as you carry over into your years and as you get older and becoming, from the young youth to an adult. We carry a lot of anger around. We carry a lot of stress around, and we carry burdens that, sometimes shouldn't even, is not even our burdens, But at the end of the day, I just want to, let you guys know that I am very appreciative, and I'm very, very grateful for any support and anybody that I can support, truthfully. And so basically, I just want to start this afternoon off with letting you guys know that we are in the holiday season, although it may not feel like we are, but we are pretty much. And I know at this point, even I myself, a lot of us is going through the changes of not really probably being around family like we probably would want to, due to COVID-19, or as well just due to any negativity or anything that may have occurred over this past year, family drama, financial situations and setbacks, or whichever way the case may be. So therefore, at the end of the day, I just want to always encourage people, keep God first. Keep God first in your situation, as well as learning to love you. And when you're learning to love you, it's nothing wrong with getting your mind back. It's nothing wrong with getting your mind together. If you never been somewhere with dealing with yourself to love yourself, and you have low self-esteem or insecurity issues, or if you just, don't know God. A lot of people strayed away from God because of things that they grew up seeing, or because of individuals around them being negative, as well as toxic, always telling you what you can and can't do, and who you can and can't love, And I'm going to be honest right here with you guys today. Truthfully, I just want to say happy holidays, regardless of what. Get in the holiday spirit, get in the holiday cheer, And if you're a mother, single or not, truthfully, get a little tree, get some joy, get some holiday spirit going in your household for your babies, and lean on God. God will make a way out of no way. Trust me, I understand, and I know. So, and I say this for many reasons, and I'm going to get to that first and foremost. But I just want to also say, for those of us that have nowhere to go, and those of us that are in need, this is a meal voucher, pretty much, that I did do my donation with the Atlanta mission. If you here in the state of Georgia, okay, at first I was saying I needed a head count, whatever, for my personal benefit, but I do not. pretty much. But if you need to go down there, that is not just for homeless. That is still a women and children's shelter as well, and they refer you to all the places that you need as far as, you know, financial situations, shelter, food, you know, as well as, you know, anything you need. Pretty much they have outreach centers and other places that can help you. So never be afraid to go get your help. I don't care what no one's saying. If they not willing to help you, they not willing to go in their pockets and give you, you know, some bill money or whichever way, but everybody have something to say. Go to the place where you can get help. Don't go to nobody that will sit around and talk about you and tell your business and make you feel bad or make you feel less than just because you had a mistake, or just because you did something, you know, truthfully, you already knowing I shouldn't have did it, but I did it anyway, you know, overspending and not budging, or whichever way, you know, it is what it is, because at the end of the day, it still boils back down to God will make a way out of no way. You just got to go to the right people. So if you guys are here in Atlanta, especially, I'm talking to females, if you're a mother and you're seeking any toys for tots, any need for, you know, children, pretty much any kind of assistance financially, stability, a roof over your head, you know, food, or whichever way, talk to the Atlanta Mission, okay? Or you can Google it, atlantamission.org or atlantamission.com. But talk to them, and they have other large amounts of range of different variety of other shelters and centers that can help you, as well as, you know, I will keep you guys in prayer. I keep everybody in prayer, because that is my nature. That is what I do, regardless of what, you know, it's the God in me. So when people even still just say, oh, she's nice, or oh, she, you know, pretending. No, I'm not pretending. And I would tell you why. You know, at the end of the day, nothing about me has to be pretending, and nothing about me has to be fake. If I get to that point where I don't want you in my energy, I would block, I would delete, and I would unfollow on social media, and I would get you out my way. If it comes to the point where we had to have a couple of words, we can have some words, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's still the principle. You and I will not, you know, have this discussion again. We just won't, you know. But at the same time, it still boils back down to, we are going through trying times. We're going through hardships. We're going through, you know, heartaches, loss of marriages, losses of, you know, relationships, or whichever way. But we all have to learn to recover. You can't just stay stuck in that situation or stuck in that era, because that too shall pass, you know. Anything that you're going through, it should come to an end, whether you want it to or not. So whether a person pulling and tugging on you, or you pulling and tugging on someone, whichever way it may be. But when God says cease, it's going to cease, you know. Or if you having an individual that is praying, hey, God, you know, bring me out of this storm. Take me past this storm. I am sick of this mess, you know. God going to come through, and he's going to overcome. He's going to take you out, and he's going to put you where you need to be. Not only where you need to be, but he's going to uplift you so that you can be someone else's help, so that you can be someone else's backbone, so that you can be someone else's guide. And that is how love is being spread throughout this world, as well as this universe, and to continuously to give back to people. And I, for one, know all about it, for the simple reason, it's not the choices that I've made as an individual, as a mother, or, you know, pretty much even still just life itself, I would say. But I went through a lot, and I seen a lot dealing with individuals that was adults that was raising me. So I know about all walks of life, you know. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't, because I do. I know about drug addictions. I know about, you know, sex addictions. And you know, and you get that drug addiction, pretty much you're constantly chasing a high that you was trying to get that very first time. And some of us are not functioning addicts. You know, a lot of people cannot go through this world drinking and drugging, and can't get up and operate every day to go to a job, you know, to go and get financial stability and gain and clock in and out. Some of us, we get into that mode where some people say junkies, you know, and I don't like to say junkies. I just would say, you know, you become an addict, you know. And so therefore, when you become an addict and you're so dependently addicted to something, whether it be in drugs, whether it be in sex, whether it be in alcohol, or whether it even still sometimes being food, or whether it's still being sometimes so dependent on another individual to take care of you and give you the love that you seek within yourself, you know, true enough, you would never know true love until you learn to love yourself. And that's why, I can sit here and tell people that, because I've always guided and protected myself. Although I didn't get myself here by myself, but I had a situation to happen very early on in my life before I even come here. My great aunts and their ancestors, they all was ascended masters. They deal with this spiritual world. And so before I even got here, my mom, she grew up being rebellious. She grew up being disrespectful, and she grew up being, how can I put it, hard-headed as a young lady. And she wanted to do what she wanted to do because her mother was an older woman, a mother of 10 children. But bottom line is, my grandfather, he wasn't the man that he should have been. And truthfully, he decided to leave his home with a woman that didn't acknowledge his children and that really didn't acknowledge him. She just wanted him for the stability and the money. And so my grandmother, being the woman that she was, she hey, go where you want to go and be who you want to be with. But them benefits, they belong to me and these children. But at the end of the day, my grandmother outlived my grandfather. And I knew my grandfather, and at the end of the day, pretty much he was very in regretful mode before he passed away. And, I grew up watching my grandmother. Even though she had her children, she had her time and her fair share of men. But I've never seen too much wrong with my grandmother. And but basically her mom and her aunts and a long line of strong women were, Cherokee Indian women, pioneer Indian women, shall I say, as well as, white women, Caucasian women. And so therefore it's a mixture of a DNA in my family. So therefore I can't see color. But at the same time, I believe in what I believe in, which is justice and standing up for those that can't stand up for themselves or don't know any better, or even still those of us that get pushed around and taken advantage of and bullied, and that, it just triggers me. But I try my best, truthfully, not to argue with an individual who don't understand what they put out in this universe. You get it back, not only still when God says so, but you get it back right at that moment where you think you rising and God shut it all down. But bottom line is, honestly, when I was 3 years old, I overdosed on birth control. And basically, I was at my Harris family home because that's the place that we resigned in at that time. So therefore, I took those birth control pills because, they were so colorful back then. And they looked at like candy. No one was watching me. My mother was supposed to have been watching me, but she was, intoxicated. So therefore, she was off somewhere asleep. So as a 3-year-old, I was a very, very busybody. And so therefore, I took that, them birth control, shall I say, didn't know any better, but at the same time, I OD'd and I was, dead for a certain amount of time. And so therefore, once I was on the hospital bed, what I remember and what I tap into, because I have the ability to tap in people's past life as well as my own. So therefore, what I remember at Grady Memorial Hospital, I was born at Grady, and so therefore I was taken to Grady as well for this particular incident. And so therefore, body cold as ice. Doctor pronounced me dead, and my mother was going to prison. And so therefore, God had already had me in his hands. But I was born to be reincarnated anyway. And so when I got here, I was already gifted, before I was even 3 years old, because I had a lot to go on that people were, oh, she's been here before, And my grandmother's was the main one, and they got along very well. One was Creole and French, my father's mom, and he was a Haitian man mixed with Creole and French, as well as my mom mixed with Caucasian and, 2 different Indians descent, but and African American as well. But at the same time, I was pronounced dead. My family had to get ready, supposedly, to be making funeral arrangements. and my mother was going to prison. My father didn't know what was going on because he wasn't at home. He was I ain't gonna say a street runner, but he was a street pharmacist. But at the end of the day, it still boiled back down to it was a lot of chaos and drama always going on since the day I touched this earth. So therefore, I'm not the only one, but I'm the one that God had, chose to do his will. And so therefore, God and I had a conversation many, many years ago. And I begged him as I was looking down and I was in the light and I was asking him, my mommy going to prison. Take me back down there. I want to go back down there. Take me down there so my mom don't go to prison. And at that time, my father was abusive. So therefore, what he was planning to do if my mom didn't go to prison, he was going to go to prison because he was going to harm her. And that was something that I knew as well. And so therefore, God and I, we had a talk. And so therefore, my life have always been covered and controlled by the one who is the head of my life, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And that is why I believe what I believe and I do what I do for the simple reason my life have had many, many attempts, and it started when I was very, very young. But at the same time, a child cannot control what they do not know and cannot handle, because that is why you're the child and you're supposed to have adults to help and handle your situation and, protect and guide your life. But bottom line is, God sent me back. My family was leaving the hospital in mourning, But at the same time, I come running through that hallway with the spirit of a warrior saying, hey, I'm here. Where y'all going? And I asked them, where y'all going? And they was looking at me like they seen a ghost. And so at that moment, pretty much my family was very protective of me from my Harris side to my Brady side. And my mother, for many years, she questioned herself, why did she not die? And that's because she don't know the Bible. She don't know I came back as a messenger. She don't know I came back to do God's will, And so, and I'm okay with that. God have prepped and prepared me along the way for so much I've been through in my life, men, situations with, people, just after me, stealing my identity, pretty much. And some was family member, stolen my identity, did tax fraud, pretty much. As well as at the end of the day, just, coming in between my marriage, pretty much, just a whole lot people have always tried to do to me. And I just sit back and I just tell them, God, do they not know what they're doing? They're digging a hole deeper and deeper for themselves. And and at the end of the day, it's going to be hard to climb out that hole. And sometimes God even takes souls. And that's why I don't like to fuss with people. I don't argue with people, because my God is very protective of me. My God is very, very protective of not just me, but the people that I deal with. And my ancestors as well. They would destroy relationships. They would destroy anything and everything. When my heart is pure and my heart is kind and I am good to people, they would destroy the situation that is no longer meant for me. So I don't worry what I can't control. And I will never settle in a relationship where I'm not number one. And so therefore, as well, at the end of the day, on this spiritual journey, even still dealing with the situation that have come and taken over for the past year and a half in my life, I told God, hey, take the wheel, because this is not my battle, but yet and still I come out victoriously, because at the end of the day, I knew my God would never place me and put me in anything that I cannot conquer, anything that I would not come out and I could say my God has won again, truthfully. And I'm 38. And I've had 4 kids. They said I would never have kids, and I've had 4 and a possible. I had a miscarriage as well, because I told God I didn't want that baby at that time. I was working a good job, and and my kid's dad, true enough, and my husband, my ex-husband, at that time, true enough, he and I was buying our home, and I became pregnant, and I told God, I said, no, that's not the time. And, and so God said, do not do it again, but yet and still, I had that miscarriage, And I praise God at that moment for the simple reason my prayers was answered instantly. And so therefore, can't nobody never, you can never tell me ain't no God, because my God have saved my life as well as he have done any and everything in my life that I've asked him to do. Not just for me, but for others as well. So when I tell him I am tired, I am sick of this mess, I am sick of this individual, we going to get some understanding. We're going to get some straightening. So I don't worry about what I can't control. What I do is do my part. And if God say hold still, if God say walk it through, if God say be who you really are, if God say come out and let him see, and that's what I do. And I will also at any given moment go to hell and hot water for my children, because they don't deserve what grown individuals that have no conscience do to them or try to do to them, all because you're after me. I don't fight or fuss over no man, especially when he ain't paying my bills, especially when he ain't in my home, especially when he too have, made sacrifices to go against me. So what I look like, chasing after a man who does not adore me, a man who is not God-fearing, and he don't know Jesus. He don't know God, He don't know his purpose. So he cannot lead me anywhere. He can't lead me anywhere, because what's going on I already knew. And that's why it's going on. Because a lot of people in this world, male or female, they don't like rejection. They don't like a simple no, I'm okay, I'm good, They have to go through the streams and the channels to fabricate stories and to try to destroy people in their lives, as well as to make them seem as if they needed them when it's the other way around. But it's okay, because my God has won again. The battle has been won again. Victoriously shall we stand, shall I stand, and that's the way I live my life. And I don't mind removing people out of my energy when I see that you're full of greed, when I see that you're negative, and when I see that you just can't get right, If you just can't get right, I give you back to God, because it's no use to talking to an individual that think one day, okay, I got God in me, then the next day you got the devil in you. You have to balance that mess out. You have to balance it out. And I've been doing it all my life. All my struggles, all my ups and downs, all my trials and tribulations, even losing my oldest daughter. God prepped and prepared me and had me to start reading that Holy Bible. Get your Bible, because I'm about to do something in your life. That is what God did to me back in 2013. No. When? Yeah. Back in 2013. Yes, it was. When he took my daughter from me. No, 09. I'm sorry. Back in 09. Yes, but it's been many years. It's been 13 years as of December the 23rd that I buried her. I buried her 2 days before Christmas. So around this time of year, I do get a little emotional. I do go into a little, hey, I need some alone time, because I don't have no problem with telling people, hey, my child left me at 7 years old due to a heart condition. But let me also tell you this. I had an individual who didn't know how to let the man that I conceived that baby with, she didn't know how to let him go. She wished death upon me and my daughter over the phone. I wish she was dead. I hope your baby don't live. I kick her out your stomach. So yes, what I do? I'm 18. This woman was 20-some years old he was dealing with. And he was 19, 20 years old, dealing with a 20-some-year-old woman. But that is what his mom had allowed, because they was friends, okay? So at the end of the day, I'm 18, arguing with this female over the phone. But yet and still, I still take out and press charges on her, and they go find her. I want to press charges, but he don't. So that let me know right there, we ain't got no love. You don't love me. You want to be back and forth between this grown woman and me. Negro, you done lost your mind. Because here I am, I'm sacrificing my college, my life, for somebody who ain't even on my level, But I didn't judge you. I still let you up in my energy. Granted, laid down with a dog and got fleas. Only thing that I came out with was 2 babies back to back. But see, I had a praying grandmother. Once again, that praying grandmother Said you ain't gonna stay there. Get up, make that bed up, and clean that mess up. And that's what I did. I cleaned my mess up. And here I am, cleaning the mess up again. And that is why God brought me out. I didn't want to come out on social media, to air my business, to air my laundry, but I had to. Because I had an individual to fabricate stories and lie on me and hack my phone, my devices and my accounts, and went to my husband and his family and, anybody in my phone. So you think I want you? No, I don't want you. I just wanted to do what God asked me to do. And he asked me to manifest you out that situation. Because you was a fool then when you came to me. You was broken. You was weakened. And I helped you. I prayed for you. I guided you. I gave you the cover that you needed to get out that relationship, whether it was going to be with me or someone else. Either way, you knew you had some work to do. Because what you do, I don't do. And so therefore, I couldn't have that mess around me and my kids. And I assured my children, Father, this is not it. Because I know God ain't bring me out of a marriage with you where you don't beat me, you don't fuss with me, you don't cuss with me, And I've been with you for 17 years. But he want to give me to a so-called divine masculine who is a can't get right, who don't even believe in the same God I believe in. I know this ain't my God. So what I do? Manifesting for him, but manifesting for me, most importantly. Bring me, my God, out of this situation. Bring me, my God, to see it through. Bring me, my God, to where you have not forgotten. Bring me, my God, where you say, this too shall pass. And that's where I am with it. I don't want my divine counterpart. I'm saying that right here, right now. I will put my hand on the Bible. I don't want my divine counterpart. I did what I was told to do. Although it could have been marriage. Although it could have been maybe a child or so. But I also told God 5 years ago when I had that last baby. I had that fourth baby. I said I don't want no more kids. I told God that. So I if it was in the cards or if it was in the will for me to be with the individual that, he wanted me to be with, at one point I was willing. But when an individual slap God in the face and say, you're not going to control this, I am, God give it right back and say, you don't deserve it. But for that point, we're going to talk about 1 Kings. What happened in the book of 1 Kings? Certain kings wasn't worthy. Certain kings was wicked. Certain kings, thought they was above David. Certain kings thought they was above God himself, Lord Almighty, And so what God do? He destroyed. He took souls. He took their lives and tormented them for the simple reason, when I give you a gift and you give it back, but yet and still you have wickedness, you're not worthy to be a king because you didn't know how to take your throne. Okay? And so therefore, at the end of the day, that's where I'm at with it. Because I know my place. I know my role as a woman, as well as a mother, and as a wife. And I will not submit never to a man that ain't worthy in God's eyes. And yes, I'll admit, at the time I married my children, father, my husband, he's a good man, never been in trouble, don't have anything on his record, run his own business, he's a good father to his children. And so therefore he comes from a spiritual background. His father is a divine masculine. And he didn't tell his kids he was in a spiritual warfare. Okay? But that went on for many years until I came around. And then when I came around, the mother was able to rest, But yet and still the father nor mother never taught the children about God. Because they lost in a way all respect for God. But yet and still they went through a divine intervention because they shouldn't have been together. But God allowed me to be with my husband because he came from a divine masculine, a divine child himself. So therefore he expected my husband to allow me to mold and groom him, to get him in the word of God. And so that he too can stay on this journey and enjoy this life with me. But my husband chose to say, that is what you worship. That is what you do. I didn't say I don't believe in God. I just don't believe in how you believe in it. And that is okay with me. So when he said that, God said, okay, let's remove ourselves. And I had no problem with it. And so I can say right to this day, my children, father, and I, we have a great communication skills dealing with business as well as co-parenting with our children. But he's also learning more and more about God, the God that I serve each and every day. But no, we're not going, rekindle anything that is not there, because yet and still our marriage have been over. It was already over, you know and that is something I can't sit here and deny and say, we were so in love. No, we was not. Things happen, people grow apart, things get said, and you can't undo the redo. You can't take it back, but by me being who I am, a God-fearing woman, I pray for the very first children, father. I pray for the husband, and I pray for this so-called divine masculine. And I also pray for God to send me my right soulmate and a partner, a real man, a real alpha to my omega, or me being the omega to my alpha. Whichever way we gonna do it, but yet and still at the end of the day, it still boils back down to never be afraid of change. Never be afraid to go to God in spirit and say, hey, I messed up. Or never be afraid to tell God, God, this person is not loving me. Although you may love yourself. But see, when you love yourself more than enough to know that, okay, I need to, pack my little bags, let me pack my stuff up and let me, set some stuff in place and let me go on about my business. If you can't do that, and if you have a person that is violent, if you have a person that, loves to just keep your life in a turmoil, constantly tornado, constantly bringing drama and creating drama in your life, you're not in a relationship and you're not loving. That is not love. Love works both ways, whether it be dealing with a relationship leading to a marriage, or whether it be within your marriage before you get married. I recommend everybody get counseling. I even got counseling. That my kid's father and I, we got counseling. But yet and still, we still were two different people, and we can sit down and we can communicate, true enough. But at the end of the day, it's still the principle. For example, I say our home now. I wanted a smaller home, a startup home. He wanted to jump right back, jump right into a big home. And I'm like, no. But yet and still, at the end of the day, it still boils back down to over a period of time, you can get, a $300,000-$400,000 home. That is how my mind works. I start small. I got to crawl before I walk, And so certain people, they just hop into it. And so I'm not the one to just hop into anything. And that is why I'm letting this connection go as well, because I will not just hop into a relationship with a man because he figured, well, God said he's supposed to be with me. No, I did the work. I've been doing the work. That's why I was never lost. I was never insecure. I rejected him from the beginning, and he didn't like rejection. He told me he would destroy me. He tried. He tried. But yet and still, why would I want you? Why would I want you? And I would not bring you around my kids. That is not the type of man that I would bring around my kids. And so therefore, at the end of the day, I say that to say, a lot of us as women or men, single fathers, whichever way, you cannot bring any and everything around your children. Everything that smiles got teeth. But yet and still, at the end of the day, that don't mean they are God-fearing in their hearts, in their mind, and even with their action. You got to pay attention to these people nowadays. And it's been this way for many years. People think just because you can go off and have 2 and 3 wives, you can do whatever you want to do everywhere. No, you cannot. People think it's okay if you 40-some years old, you can rob somebody's cradle in their teens. That is not okay. That is not okay. You have taken someone's innocence. And so therefore, at the end of the day, when that judgment come back around, don't look surprised. Don't be, God, why you doing this to me? And then you want to call God's name, but yet and still you didn't show any God fear when you was doing what you did and when you did it. And so therefore, that is why I tell people, this connection with me have been over for two months or so. When I got on YouTube, it was over. Because my guardian angels, as well as God himself, told me, release yourself, go find your soulmate, or we have one for you, and keep moving forward. That is the part of moving forward. And I have released myself. I can sleep better, you know. I've lost weight. I've fasted so much than I've ever fasted. I didn't even fast this much when I lost my oldest daughter and I was pregnant with my third child at the same time. But yet here I stand to tell my story. Not all of it, because I got to say some from a book. And yet and still at the end of the day, I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for all the true people that really have supported and prayed for me, as well as, it's nothing no one can tell me about my own personal divine journey and intervention that I didn't already know, because I've already given him messages. I've already laid it out for him, and I told him, you think I'm going to wait on you? I would skate on you in a minute. I would skate in a minute. Right stream, but the wrong yo-yo. Okay? Because I don't wait on no man to think I need him to take care of me. That's not what this was about. It wasn't about to come and take care of me. It was to get to know me, so that we can do an assignment as well as a mission that we had before God. And so I tapped in fully to understand the assignment as well as the mission. And so therefore the cycle has been closed. He felt his spiritual journey. And so therefore I still pray for him to get up and keep going and learning with God. And if God is whooping butt right now, that is because, God make no promises that he can't keep. But if it don't come through the way he wanted it to, he have a problem. God has a problem with that. And that is why he removed me from this connection. Because he said, you will not be haunted, you will not be tormented, and you're not waiting on anything. You have all the tools that you need. You have everything you need, and you have always taken care of business. You have always been prayed up. You have always did my will, And so that's why I wasn't worried. But when I post or when I do my readings, I do my readings